And good evening, everybody. I'm Connie Leonard. Thanks for joining us here at 11. The flu has Kentuckiana schools in a chokehold right now. Many schools switched to NTI this week, but extracurricular activities are still on. This as the state reports the first pediatric flu death of the year. The child had not been vaccinated. Vaccination rates seriously declined this year. Only 17% of Kentucky kids got the flu shot, and only 2% got the updated COVID shot. And we've seen the effects of that. Louisville Metro reported a jump to 9,000 cases of the flu this week, up almost 3,000 cases in 1 week. Tonight, Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Emma Gefter talked to parents at 2 crowded JCPS games.
2 JCPS teams face off with an audience.
These kids were out of school with online instruction due to widespread illness, but obviously it didn't stop them from showing up to Friday night's game.
To watch my sister play basketball.
Have you been getting sick, or any of your classmates been getting sick?
The largest school system in the state has given its students a 4-day weekend, operating on 84% attendance level, the district not canceling games.
It didn't stop us from coming to get the kids out of the house so they quit eating up all the food.
A packed gym at the Ballard versus St. Xavier game, with little to no people wearing masks.
So you guys didn't have school today. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I didn't get not much work done. Has a lot of people been getting sick too?
Yes, my teacher's been sick.
Students have felt it at the private school Assumption too.
Oh, it's gross. I'm like, it's giving me flashbacks to like the pandemic,
where they didn't have any days off.
I just got back, so.
Well, yeah, she was just sick, but I missed it. Cross my fingers.
Still not stopping the gym
We heard lots of good things about Ballard and St. X against each other.
from filling up. For the WHAS 11 night team, I'm Clarice Shaley.
And JCPS is on NTI again Monday. Other surrounding counties were out for the entire or the majority of the week last week, including Shelby, Oldham, and Hardin County schools. We'll update you on our website, WHAS11.com, if others are closed on Monday. Well, new legislation introduced this week in Frankfort aims to double down on law enforcement efforts to aid ICE enforcement. The new bill would prohibit state or local governments from becoming sanctuary cities, require law enforcement to comply with ICE agents, and jail employees must report illegal immigrants in custody. The night team's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Aspen Hester spoke with the Kentucky sheriff about the proposed law.
New Kentucky legislation named House Bill 344 will require law enforcement to use reasonable resources to enforce federal immigration law. I spoke with the Hardin County Sheriff John Ward about how this would impact his department if it becomes law.
We uphold the Constitution. We're sworn to uphold the Constitution of Kentucky, and we're always willing to work with our partners in the federal law enforcement system.
Sheriff Ward says after reviewing the new legislation introduced in Frankfort on Wednesday, it will be business as
I
usual.
don't think we're going to modify how we do our job, although, like I said, like this bill reads, if we're asked by a federal agency for law enforcement assistance, we're going to provide such assistance.
HB 344 is being sponsored by Louisville Representatives Jared Bauman and Jason Nemes, as well as other lawmakers. It also requires law enforcement agencies like Ward's team to notify a judge if an undocumented person is in their custody. Ward says he's never seen legislation like this in his decades of experience.
It's not for me to decide on what laws are needed or not. We operate by the Kentucky Revised Statutes and the Constitution of Kentucky.
In Hardin County, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 night team, on your side.
And the bill would allow the Attorney General to withhold road funding to any local governments that refuse to comply. Well, we've heard it for weeks. Mail delays frustrating U.S. Postal customers here in Louisville. Well, we aren't the only ones answering your calls. Congressman Morgan McGarvey sent a second letter to USPS asking for answers today. We've heard from people in Jefferson County saying their mail is delayed by weeks or not showing up at all from the Louisville Distribution Center. When we asked in January what the issue was, the Postal Service blamed back-to-back weather events and, quote, increased employee availability issues. But today, in his letter, Representative Morgan McGarvey said there's reason to believe issues started before the winter storm. He said, quote, "However, we have received numerous reports that several of the issues central to the mail delay, in fact, predated the winter storms, in some cases by months. Public reports of staffing shortages, mismanagement of resources, and broken equipment indicate broader systematic issues within the facility causing the delays, not acute problems caused by winter storms." We are waiting for a response from USPS in Louisville. The parents of an alleged domestic abuse victim are calling for criminal justice reforms with concerns about domestic violence EPOs. Carrie and William Miller say Dominic Mack violated the emergency protective order for their daughter multiple times. Mack is charged with domestic violence, assault, and terroristic threatening. In court documents, officers say Mack assaulted his girlfriend on January 10th, both physically and verbally, his fourth offense. The victim's parents say Mack was also charged with violating an EPO that same month when he allegedly shot William Miller at Waffle House on Dixie Highway. Police are still investigating that incident. Mack is on home incarceration on a $5,000 cash bond.
They offered him a plea to do a couple months in jail, and they're going to let him out on home incarceration again.
He walked freely out of the courtroom again.
I do not think that a $5,000 bond, my personal opinion is, I do not think that a $5,000 bond for a fourth offense DV case is appropriate. I do not believe that. I was not the judge that set that bond.
Now, the Millers say they feel failed by the criminal justice system. Mack will be back in court February 12th. The Millers say they'll be there too.
We do have some rain showers that will be moving through tonight, and they're going to be hanging around, unfortunately, through tomorrow. Out the door, if you're up early, plan on some wet conditions out there. Periods of rain and more widespread in the afternoon. Warm front will get us into the 60s, though, tomorrow, especially in Kentucky. Cooler off to the north, and then the cold front will move through and shut off that rain tomorrow night and bring in some colder weather for Sunday. 39 our low for tonight with those rain showers. 50s by noon tomorrow. Keep that umbrella handy with a high of 63 tomorrow. Now, next week, as colder air moves in, we're not just talking about rain, but also some snow in that forecast coming up in our Weather Impact Team full forecast.
Well, in national news tonight, President Trump's plans, led by Elon Musk, to place thousands of USAID workers on leave has now been put on hold by a judge. This comes as questions swirl about Musk's power in the government. Musk and his new Department of Government Efficiency made the decision to slash thousands of workers at the agency, which provides food and medicine to almost 32 million children worldwide. And the president making it clear he wants Musk to continue, asking him to work on the Pentagon next, despite what some Democrats are calling a conflict of interest, as Musk's companies have nearly $6 billion in contracts with the Pentagon.
Is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
Now, the State Department is still working to assist evacuating all U.S. aid staff on foreign assignments around the world. The estimated cost to pull them out, nearly $50 million. Tomorrow, the Louisville Democratic Party is holding a Stop Elon rally, and Representative Morgan McGarvey is leading the charge. Across the country, there have been rallies protesting Elon Musk's involvement in the Trump administration, saying Musk has unprecedented access to the federal payment system that manages Social Security payments and tax refunds. Tonight, 19 states are suing over the access, saying it's a huge cybersecurity risk. Well, tomorrow, that rally will start at 11 in the morning at the IBEW Local 369 on Preston Highway. The countdown is on to Bourbon and Beyond, and today fans could celebrate the release of the lineup at Houck's. The lineup has been a hit this year with acts like Fish, Noah Kahan, Benson Boone, Jack White, and the Lumineers. Houck's hosted a celebration with specialty cocktails, photo ops, and early access to festival passes without the service fees.
So excited. I'm ready to see one of the Beatles, Ringo Starr. And then my generation, Foreigner and Pat Benatar, those are two I'm looking forward to seeing. So tonight we're really having a good turnout. We had people here before 5 o'clock in line to purchase tickets, and you can see the line behind me. I think it'll stay that way all night.
So many great acts, and tickets are available right now on Bourbon and Beyond's website. Take a look at this year's Kentucky Derby Festival poster. Derby fans watched as the posters rolled out off the presses this morning. Kentucky native Kim Perry is this year's designer, and she said she didn't start painting until 2018. She's known for her Kentucky-themed pieces depicting bluegrass staples like bourbon, horse racing, and landscapes. Perry calls her paintings a love letter to Kentucky.
When you do see the poster, you'll see that it is a story of what the Kentucky Derby Festival does for this community. And you know, basically at the end of the day, we're all trying to get to the finish line. I hope that it takes them back to a time that they can remember of the time they spent with their family at a Kentucky Derby Festival event, that they can look at it and be happy.
KDF also unveiled its official merchandise line today. The poster and merch are 20% off until next Friday, February 14th. So just visit kdf.org to get yours, and Derby festivities begin Saturday, April 26th. Don't forget, WHAS 11 is your home for Thunder over Louisville this year. We'll be bringing you full coverage from start to finish on Saturday, April 12th. You can watch our coverage right here on Channel 11 or on the WHAS 11 Plus app. That's free to download on Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku.